Welcome to Knightline for Thursday, March 25th, 2021. I'm Marti with your school's news and announcements for Jose Marti MAST 6-12 Academy. The yearbook is available for pre-order for $40. Pre-purchase your copy at yearbookforever.com. March is Women History Month. Each day this month, we will bring you a profile for a woman who has made her mark on history. Here's Chris to tell you more about Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
For today's Women's History Month segment, we have Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was born on March 13, 1933, in Brooklyn, New York, to mother Celia Bader and father Nathan Bader. Her mother was a worker in a garment factory, and her father was a furrier in the height of the Great Depression. During Ruth's early life, she struggled with a lot of trauma. She grew up in a low-income working class in New York. At a very early stage of Ruth's life, her older sister Marilyn died of meningitis, and her mother died from cancer as she was about to graduate from high school. Ruth Bader Ginsburg's mother instilled a love for education to both Ginsburg and her brother. She attended James Madison High School, where she did well, and later went to Cornell University in 1950 and finished top of her class in 1954. She took a short break from studying and going to college until attending Harvard Law School in 1956. In 1958, she transferred to Columbia Law School and graduated first in her class in 1959. She transferred schools due to in Harvard, she had many gender-based discrimination encounters, like fellow students chastising her for taking a mean spot in the class, as well as getting some chastised from some of the higher authorities in Harvard. She became the first woman to be on the Harvard Law Review and was one of the first in the Columbia Law Review. Throughout the lifetime of Ruth, she managed to accomplish many impactful things. For example, she argued 6 cases before the Supreme Court and won 5 of them, one being the United States versus Virginia. She won the American Bar Association's Thurgood Marshall Award for her contributions to gender equality and civil rights. Ginsburg co-founded the Women's Right Project at the American Civil Liberties Union. She was the second woman to serve on the U.S. Supreme Court, and she became the second female law professor at Rutgers and fought for equal pay. Ruth Bader Ginsburg leaves behind a legacy of fighting against discrimination in the workplace. After her own difficulties at Harvard Law and with finding her career after university made her fight gender-based discriminations. She spent years of her life directing influential women's rights projects of the American Civil Liberties Union during the 1970s to try and eliminate gender-based discriminations by arguing 6 landmark discrimination cases against the U.S. Supreme Court. She became the first female professor at Columbia to earn tenure. She became one of the first women to be appointed to the U.S. Court of Appeals, and she was appointed as the second woman in the U.S. Supreme Court.
Thank you, Chris. Language Arts homework help will not take place today, March 25th. It will resume on Thursday, April 8th. Have a great spring break. March is known for the start of spring, the return of Shamrock Shake at McDonald's, and St. Patrick's Day. It's also Irish American History Month. Did you know Irish is the second most common ancestry among Americans, following just behind German? Here's Annabelle and Stephanie to tell you more.
Irish American Heritage Month is celebrated to honor the achievements and contributions of Irish immigrants and their descendants living in the United States. The Heritage Month is in March to coincide with St. Patrick's Day, the Irish national holiday on March 17. St. Patrick's Day is a Roman Catholic religious holiday that honors the saint who introduced Christianity to Ireland in the early 5th century. It has developed in the United States as a celebration of all things Irish. With large ethnic Irish populations, Boston and New York City both claim the world's first St. Patrick's Day parade, while Philadelphia claims to be the second oldest behind New York City. In New York City, it occurred on March 17, 1762, featuring Irish soldiers serving in the British military protecting the colonies during the French and Indian War. In 1960, John F. Kennedy was elected as the first Irish-American Catholic president. In 1961, he was in New York to review the St. Patrick's Day parade. Each year in March, the Irish Taoiseach visits the United States for St. Patrick's Day. A shamrock ceremony takes place in the morning at the White House, where a Christian bowl containing shamrock, a traditional symbol of Ireland, is presented to the President in the Oval Office. This is followed by a Friends of Ireland luncheon hosted by the House Speaker in the U.S. Capitol or the Rayburn House Office Building. The luncheon is attended by the President, Vice President, the Taoiseach, the Speaker, and other officials. Irish immigration had major influence on the United States due to the cheap labor they provided, mixed with the open attitude they had to accepting all types of jobs. One major role that the Irish played was building the U.S. Transcontinental Railroad. The Irish famine, caused by a potato blight, caused the first mass migration of Irish people to the United States. Starvation on the seas claimed around 1 million lives during 1845 to 1850, which led to almost twice that number to emigrate to other countries, including a majority into the United States. The famine and its effects permanently changed the island's demographic, political, and cultural landscape, producing an estimated 2 million refugees and spurring a century-long population decline. The Irish have a great influence on the society we know today. Some accomplished people that come from Irish backgrounds include John Jolly, who invented colored photography, Arthur Leard, who invented the stethoscope, Reverend Nicholas Callan, who invented the induction coil, and Joseph Murphy, who invented flavored potato chips.
Thank you and happy Irish American Heritage Month. Informed, alert communities play a critical role in keeping our nation safe. We can all help keep our communities safe by learning the indicators of terrorism and terrorism-related crime, paying attention to our surroundings, and reporting suspicious activity to local law enforcement. If you see something, say something. Call 855-FLA-SAFE or 305-995-COPS. Spring break is upon us, and so is the end of the third 9 weeks. Mr. Enriquez have a message for all students before we leave for break.
Good morning, teachers and students. Today is the last day of the third 9 weeks. We only have one 9-week period remaining, and we will be done with the 2021 school year. It has been a success. You have gone a long way. Many of you have struggled, but many of you have also improved. And those who are still struggling, you have 9 weeks to get your things together and make sure you have all A's and B's on your report card. Now, we have upcoming testing in April and May. We have put that information out. In April, it'll be the writing test. In May will be the subject matter test as well as AP testing. So we need to be prepared for that. Now, over this coming spring break, many schools are offering tutoring, and they're actually mandating tutoring for many of the failing students. But I thought that you, students at Jose Marti MAST 6 through 12 Academy, deserve a big break. So we are not going to offer tutoring. We want you to use that time to rest and relax and keep your eyes off any screens because you have been looking at screens and Zooming and using Teams and other things all year long, and I feel that you deserve a big break for that. So over the spring break, I need to make sure each and every one of you stay safe. Make sure you limit your travel as much as possible. And that's it for me, folks. Have a nice spring break, and we will see you on April 5th.
Thank you, Mr. Enriquez. That is all for us today. We will see you next time.